Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Prabhu ji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dharmat Pranam. Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees for this Sunday evening Gita Sadhaka session. So everyone who has assembled over here, taking their most valuable time to assemble and be in the association of devotees. That's a very important, most important thing which every day I emphasize. And just to keep our mind, because our mind is very, very strong. That is why every day we have to do Harinam Japa. Every day we have to do 16 rounds. Every day we have to eat Krishna Prasad, and every day we have to associate with the devotees. Otherwise, a little bit of tuning, Maya is very, Bhairanga Sakti, the Maya form is very, very strong. So let us start with Sankirtan till the time other devotees join. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Everybody. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Nitya Gaurava, Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Why was the voice clear? Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी।
Krishna Prabhuji pranam wala.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Hare Krishna. So let's begin. Mataji, let us begin with our Mangala Charan and then we'll continue with our Prabhupada Lila Amrita. Okay.
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. I'll share my screen, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, is the screen visible?
Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalaakaya Chakshukruunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamcham श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगगन रघुनाथं पीतं तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्री राधा कृष्ण भातान् सगगन ललिता विशाखान्वितां च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
नमो
विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनीति नामिने हे सरस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्ता हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद
Nanda
जय
Yadvaita
अद्वैत
Chandra
चंद्र
Jaya
जय गौर
Govinda
भक्तवृंद
Jaya
जय
Jaya
जय
Shri
श्री
Chaitanya
चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद
Nityananda
जय
Advaita
अद्वैत
Chandra
चंद्र
Jaya
जय
Gaura
गौर
Bhakta
भक्तवृंद
Vinda
जय
Jaya
जय
Jaya
जय
Shri
श्री चैतन्य
Chaitanya
जय
Jaya
नित्यानंद
Nityananda
जय
Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura
गौर
Bhakta
भक्तवृंद
Vinda Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
ॐ नमो भगवते
वासुदेवाय
वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
ॐ
ॐ
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय वासुदेवाय मूकं करोति वाचालं
Vachalam
पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं
Te
यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे
Te Guru
श्रीगुरुं
Dinatarinam
दीनधारणं
Paramanandam
परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु
हरे
जी
कृष्ण
नाम
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna. Let's start with our okay. Every time I will ask you one question, and I think now you all should be prepared with that. Question always remains: where did we end up? Just to summarize, because we should bring the connection, link it, because I think we had a gap of 1 week. So I would just suggest somebody could volunteer to at least summarize last few lines. I won't say
Mumbai.
that.
We were discussing about Guruji. We were discussing about Mumbai, that Jewish temple acquisition of land.
Yes.
Mr.
Okay.
Nayak.
So
Mr.
where did
Nayak
we?
sold the property to
Yes.
Prabhuji, and
Yes.
Prabhupada was suspicious about that.
Yeah. Very
Yes,
suspicious.
Prabhu.
Correct. Yeah. So let's begin with that. Actually, Prabhupada had already faced a lot of difficulties before also, and as you know, nowadays, like it's like one of the sloka. It says that. Basically, and the sloka goes like that: Vacho vegam manasakrodha vegam jiva vegam udarupastito vegam etan vegan yo visaheta dhira samsad prityam sasishyat. So, first of two lines is very important. Vacho vegam manasakrodha vegam. So nowadays, people have an urge to speak, and all false and all lies. And basically, the whole understanding is that this sloka actually is from the Nectar of Instruction by our Sri Rupa Goswami ji. And this is the first, first one. A person who is basically, he has to, these are the 6 urges: urge of speaking lies. Basically, it's an urge of speaking, and that also, probably false propensity, telling lies. And that's what actually is worried over it. So, manasa krodha vegam, these are two, there are 6 things which is always impediment. And if we are able to control what means the urge of speaking, urge of our mind is always crook, then control over anger, and then control over our jiva, our belly and genitals. If we are able to control this, probably we will consider to be like one of the person who has a pure devotee who is considered to be like a Uttam Adhikari, and who are considered to be like Guru and who can accept disciples. This is basically mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami. But what I was trying to say is a connection why I am trying to say, because Mr. N, actually Mr. N is Mr. Nair. So everyone knows that, but because in the book it was not like to be emphasized, so that's why it is written Mr. N. So in that, Mr. Nair was like always in an agreement. Whatever Prabhupada was saying, he used to agree. And he used to tell Prabhupada with folded hands, see, I'm doing this for Sanatan Dharma, I'm doing this for so and so, I'm also a practicing Hindu. So I want temple to be built up, and I'm not going to make any profit out of this. Prabhupada was very suspicious. So anyway, because Prabhupada wanted that his desire was to have that land. So Prabhupada has taken many challenges, but always very careful over business transaction. He knew that if somebody is telling, I'm making no profit, means he's like 100%. See, my father says to me that you go to the shop and they will tell you 50% discount, 70% sales. 70% discount is going on or something like that. He said that you tell me, my son, will anybody sell by having a loss at his home? If he has purchased certain thing for certain amount, at least he will make some amount of profit so that he can run his business. He has so much of big paraphernalia. He has people to work under him. He has to pay rent. He has to pay power and all these things. So many taxes and all that. Do you think that he will run his showroom or shop in loss? These are basically to attract the customers. And now Prabhupada Nair is trying to attract Prabhupada. But anyway, Prabhupada is very, very careful. So in New York City, when the real estate, there was another person called Mr. Price, who actually, he showed that he's a well-wisher of the devotees and he is very, very favorable towards ISKCON, but ultimately he cheated. So Prabhupada, and if we see, before Prabhupada went to, actually I'll try to narrate you a back history, so telling you what exactly had happened. When Hare Krishna, can we mute please? So actually the Prabhupada, after having lots of failure, and when he left Calcutta, he came down and settled down in for some time in Jhansi, where he stayed for in Jhansi. Actually, he was basically trying to sharpen his Sanskrit grammar and all that. So 3 levels of grammars are there, and it's very tough. So, but Prabhupada already had a background, but he just wanted to sharpen because he wanted to start his, what he wanted to start. Now I think you can guess.
Translation.
Yeah, translation, correct. So translation that also of Srimad
Bhagavatam.
Yes. He wanted the Krishna to be translated in English. It was in Sanskrit, godly language. Many people did not have interest. As slowly our Indian people, they also lost their mind and soul. So they don't want to study Sanskrit. I studied till 9th class. So at least a little bit of my interest. And my father actually, he used to teach, teach Sanskrit to me. So he used to read Gita. So he used to say that if you learn Sanskrit, you will be able to quote many of the things which will look very, very, you can say like it gives you an impact, because those words have got a different, Hare Krishna. It gives a different impact when you talk to the people and try to make them understand, because these are the words from the Lord himself. So Prabhupada, actually, when he was in Jhansi, he had actually, one property, real estate, where he wanted to establish his first organization. What was the name of that first organization? Anybody remembers? I have talked about before also. That was known as League of Devotees. Okay, so that was the first which failed. In fact, ultimately, Prabhupada was not able to. He actually requested, he had some 500 rupees in those days. They were asking for 5,000. And ultimately, the vicious cycle of political parties. And in those days, in those days, when we talk about in 1950s, you know which party it was. So governor's wife actually wanted to have a kitty party center over there or something like that. That's what was known afterwards, that Prabhupada requested that I wanted this for spiritual discourses, and he wanted the League of Devotees to be started. He wanted a Krishna conscious movement to start from there. But ultimately, as you know, Indians, they had lost their mind and soul. They are not now Krishna conscious, which they are actually born Krishna conscious, but they didn't want. Same way in the New York, when the largest building in fact, when they were dealing for the largest building today was Watsinka Avenue. I think that is in the Los Angeles. And it's very important to know these things, because ultimately in our life also there will be a lot of challenges coming. So we have to understand that these challenges makes us more assured that we are dependent on Krishna. We have to be. Prabhupada was dependent completely on Krishna. He moved into the a place which was given on an assurance that they will be paying on the monthly payments. And he, not knowing that from where this money will come. That was like $1,000 per month in those days. The rent was very high. But the devotees, the disciples of Prabhupada who was there with him, they promised that they will increase the distribution of back-to-head magazines. And Prabhupada approved that. And in fact, he appreciated, commended them that whatever commendable job they were doing, trying to do it. Because ultimately everybody is doing for Krishna. They are risking everything for Krishna. And they came out successful. That shows the faith. If we have faith in Krishna, because we don't want to develop our faith, we always have faith on us. And what are we? We can't do even one single activity without the help of Krishna. So that's why, if we have faith, Prabhupada illustrated that every moment. Prabhupada was committed to the line, and Prabhupada wanted to unfold his actually mission for the grand project in Bombay. In fact, in one of his letter to Yamuna Mataji on December 22nd, 1970, it was somewhere 1971. Yeah, so he wrote, here in Mumbai, we have got good prospect to purchase a very large land, and that is the Juhu, at a very cheap price, just in the middle of a very rich neighborhood. And we shall make our camp there, constructing a temple immediately, and later we shall develop a big guest house, a large hotel, and a school. There will be also a chance to have a very nice bungalow near to the Bombay city. And so in general, we'll make our Bombay as our headquarters. And we will also build up, by that time, we'll also plan for building up our temples in Vrindavan and Maya. That's what actually Prabhupada mentioned in the letter to Yamuna Mataji. In brief, I'm just telling you all this, which was sent across to Mataji. But the devotees who were with them with the Prabhupada in Mumbai, they were not very happy. Actually, it was a jungle track, just inhabited by some 2,000 people. Just imagine, it's like a patch which was neighboring sea beach, not a very inhabited. In fact, more like, it looked more like a jungle. And the devotees and disciples, seeing to the grand plan of Prabhupada, the vision of a 5-star ISKCON, you can say 5-star ISKCON hotel, with the temple, and what Prabhupada wants a school and all this. They were not able to, channelize their mind on what kind of Prabhupada's imagination is there. Has anyone gone to ISKCON Jew from our group? Can they raise their hand, or yes, if they can say? Okay, anyway, so I have been there. It's a wonderful place. I could just try to, I mean, by reading Prabhupada's Lila Amrita, once I was just reading it, I was just trying to imagine, wow, what kind of imagination Prabhupada had. There, you won't get even an inch of land in the vicinity. You don't expect that the land will be vacant for you to, I mean, purchase, and the price beyond imagination. So ultimately, Prabhupada, and this land was actually why devotees. I mean, devotees were quite. I mean, they were staying in which place? I had mentioned earlier. They were staying in an apartment in
Malabar Hills, Prabhuji.
yes, Malabar. The apartment name was Akash Ganga. Malabar Hills, correct. It was a posh area, quite neat and clean. But what is here? It's completely mosquito ridden. Lots of rat. Looking a very suburb. Suburb means, suburb in Mumbai, if you call, like you can say, I mean, one of the, I mean, low-lying areas. A lot of like, I mean, you can understand the suburb is like, I mean, throwaway life in some of the this kind of cities, Mumbai, whichever place we talk about. But Prabhupada was quite attracted, and he said, no, we are going to be here. To reside in Juhu in this drastic contrast in comfortable, I mean, compared to the comfortable Akash Ganga building, which was there in downtown Mumbai where they were living. And these devotees were they were not like our normal Indian disciples. They were basically disciples from America. They have lived in the best of the environment. And where they have now landed up, probably they said that we cannot live here. We have to be a Prabhupada. It's very, very much difficult for us to live here. Then Prabhupada said, don't you want to get purified? To which Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, Prabhupada, we need water, we need all these facilities. How we have to, I mean, how we are going to put it over. They knew that. Prabhupada also knew it. It's going to be a big challenge. But he said to his disciples, make a great sacrifice. To preach Krishna consciousness, a devotee has to be prepared to tolerate many difficulties. And whatever difficulties he was asking the disciples to undertake, he was prepared to take much greater degree of difficulties. Prabhupada, I mean, the Prabhupada himself is taking the difficulties. On one hand, he never thought about that these difficulties, and I mean, first he would always try to accept the challenges for himself, the difficulties. Prabhupada, the kind of difficulties which Prabhupada faced, can we ever think about it? We have already read so much of Prabhupada's journey till now. These are the times when Prabhupada is establishing. And he still, he has a, regular number of devotees with him who is supporting in his mission. He has funds. To some extent, he has funds. And he's able to do the preaching, roaming all over the world in fastest possible time. As we know, in the 10 years of his, he circled around the world 14 times. Probably that would have been a record. I don't know. It was never mentioned out. So it could have been a record for what we call that, the Guinness Book of World Record. Prabhupada, then he said that my vision for ISKCON Mumbai is different. Let us all be ready to take this decision, even though some of them were doubtful and weak-hearted. But they knew that their spiritual master's commitment to the project is 100%. So they also hold up, giving up their mental, separatist mentalists. Even if we are told today, see, when I went for a yatra in Mayapur, it was really a challenge. 8 days yatra is organized before Gaur Purnima. It concludes. But that challenge which I'm thinking of, we had pandals in the big field. Bathrooms were there, waters were there, on the top where tanks were there, and generators was being run. Electricity facility was there. There was a board on which, like you can imagine some 1,000 people staying at one particular place. I mean, okay, Mataji is a separate place and Prabhuji's was a separate common place. There was a prayers where we used to listen lectures from Maharaj. But that was really, I stayed, I was lying in the ground. I mean, like ground means it was having one layer of, what we can say, I mean, very thin cloth, or you can say a cotton rug, you can say. And it was like the ground was leveled. So at some places, some stones used to be there. Whole night, I used to sleep like this, like this. Just imagine how over Japataka Swami Maharaj, marshes of Ganga river, not even a single place where they could go for bathroom. Sometimes they used to have a makeshift house in boats. Flood used to be there in the monsoon season. So it's not that, but I'm telling you, the austerity. We used to walk 15 kilometers every day, sleep at 8 o'clock and again get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. This is the life of a devotee. I just wanted to experience that. And I told when I came back in my home, just trying to show that I have conquered the best possible kind of austerity. Just imagine what kind of austerity we are talking about. So today I'm going to, inject something different just to make it a little more interesting. We'll again go back to the I want to build you a temple in Mumbai. We'll again take back. Maybe a couple of sessions we will talk about, because in between Prabhupada, what has happened? Two devotees actually had come down and they were disciples of Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was invited to go to Rajasthan and Jaipur, basically. So now we will take up this for another 15 minutes. I'll be going through Prabhupada's journey to Jaipur in between before he again comes back. So what all things happened in Jaipur? You know what is anybody knows Jaipur, how it is famous for?
Prabhu, all the deities were prepared there. The temples.
Yes, correct. Marble, we have the marble deities are prepared there. Yeah, apart from that, Jaipur is the one city. Anybody knows when it was built up, this Jaipur city? It's not very old. Jaipur actually was not very old. The Jaipur city is in fact is named after the Lord Raja Jai Singh actually had. What happened is that there was it is not written the name of the Muslim king at that time. Yeah, it's basically Aurangzeb. What he did, he invaded Mathura, and this message came to Raja Jai Singh. Raja Jai Singh was entrusted. Immediately he went to Mathura, and what are the deities of? What is the deity of our Sripad Sanatana Goswami?
Radha Damodar Prabhuji.
Radha Madan Mohan.
Radha Madan Mohan.
Krishna's legs are depicted by Radha Madan Mohan. And then what is the deity of our Rupa Goswami? The deity of our Rupa Goswami is Radha Govindji. And Radha Govindji actually traveled to Jaipur. I'm just trying to connect you so that you all can also remember. And Radha Govindji is the burst, like the middle portion of Krishna reflection in that deity. And then every day in the morning, whenever I pray, I take these three names and then I'll tell you another one. So Radha Govindji and then Radha Gopinath. Radha Gopinath is the top portion, which was a deity of Raghunath Das Goswami. And then we have the deity which came in its form, the Gopal Bhatt Goswami, that is Radha Ramanji. Radha Ramanji represents all these three deities together. So these all deities were to be picked up and to be have taken, but Radha Madan Mohan stayed back. But Radha Govindji traveled to Jaipur, and it was all taken. And then in between Radha Gopinath, I mean, this all happened. So actually now I'll come back to two devotees. Their name was, there were basically two Matajis. Their name was, Prabhupada has given the name Kaushalya and Srimati. They had come actually in the month of January 1972 on behalf of New York City Temple. New York City temple already, they needed two deities actually. So marble deities. So they had been entrusted to take the responsibility of going and selecting, as Mataji just now said, that Jaipur is famous for marble deities. But a government official observed that Kausalya and Srimati, the Srimati is not carrying her passport. So in those in 1972, no, because 1971 there was a war. So 1972, people used to see if Americans are there, they used to be treated as suspicious of spies because of the war with Pakistan we had. So they insisted women to stay in the town and not to go out. Very soon, passport arrived, and afterward, the girls they daily visited Radha Govindji temple. Whenever you go to Jaipur, please do visit, because whole Jaipur is after the name of Radha Govindji. And it is a very huge temple. I have been there. I got an opportunity to be in Jaipur for a couple of days. I was there. And there, in fact, Sankirtan is held in the street in front of the temple. And that those days, one of the Goswami clans, like his name was P.K. Goswami, who was basically in charge of the temple. And some of the most affluent businessmen and the respectable citizens of that city used to visit every day Radha Govindji temple, Radha Govind. So his name, generally the people will call the deity Radha Govinda, but Radha Govindji is actually named. So citizens of these people, when these two Matajis were Kausalya and Srimati, they saw that people are so much, attracted towards the Lord, because every day they will come, they will try to be, and they could see that many people used to come there. So they thought, why not to have a pandal program? See, Matajis can, think about like this. So they said, why not to have some pandal program? So immediately they wrote to Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, we have a mission in Jaipur and requesting to come down and preach here. Prabhupada, obviously, at that point of time, any opportunity he gets, he will go. So he requested some of the devotees who were there in Delhi doing some spade work. He requested some other centers also from there, some of the devotees. And basically all the white elephants, Prabhupada used to say. And Matajis also there. So, okay, so two Matajis were there and some other Matajis were also called. And these all. And Prabhupada actually, Prabhupada, when he reached there, they took him to Govindji temple. And the request of Mr. Goswami, they got one room. And because I went and saw that, so there are rooms also in that temple premises, there where one can stay. So they got one room for Prabhupada, where Prabhupada stayed, and others all stayed nearby location only. And they were, and for Prabhupada, actually, the small room in visit, he was residing. That was very, you can say walkable distance to the deities. Prabhupada was actually, liked a lot. But there was a big disturbance which was always going on. What kind of disturbance will happen in temple? Any guess? Okay. Yeah.
Monkeys there. I remember.
Who is that? Sorry, who said that?
I'm Seema Prabhuji. I remember there's whenever the Matajis were preparing chapati or prasadam in the kitchen, monkeys used to come and
and that also Prabhupada said, big black, charcoal-like black, big tail, big body, and whenever the Mataji used to prepare, they will take away vegetables also. And Matajis were imagine one time what happened, that when I was posted in Punjab in Sangrur, one day Hanumanji came inside our drawing room, and there was a dining table on which some fruits were kept, like apple and some orange or bananas. So he sat on that dining table, and he was, enjoying all the fruits. So Anupma and everybody left the home for Hanumanji to be there. Ultimately, some people came down, and then finally he left after blessing all of us. So just imagine, and this large charcoal-faced monkeys with long curling tails. They were like, scampering from here and there. And then look, women, Matajis were cooking. They were exasperated by monkeys attacking, boulders. They would come and they would even pull the sarees. And they will try to, and they are very bold and they're and they're very big. These are called langurs actually. Actually, these are langurs, and one langur will keep away all other monkeys. If the monkeys are then this langur, a form of a monkey comes in a locality, then other monkeys will not stay. But when they manifested in so much of, I mean, the numbers are so that they were so, it's really very hard. Then they said to Prabhupada, well, what to do, Prabhupada? They are making our life miserable. Then Prabhupada said that, okay, don't worry about it. I mean, you make friends with them. They simply they will be simply see. You have to maintain a neutral position. Then he said, not friends, neither enemies nor friends. Be in a neutral position. Just maintain a neutral position. The monkeys, however, continue in doing all kinds of menace. And then Prabhupada said, okay, do one thing. One day they really come and the cooks, they came and complained. Prabhupada said, if you want to stop the monkeys, then this is what you must do. Purchase one bow and arrow, shoot one monkey on the top of a tree with the arrow, and then when he falls down, take the monkey, hang him upside down by the legs to a branch of a tree. Next to him, you should also hang the bow and arrow. This will teach them. Prabhupada was shouting like he was saying that how shooting monkeys was illegal in India. You cannot shoot a monkey. But he did not expect his disciples to actually shoot. But he delivered the advice with a serious expression. Indirectly, he was advising them not to be upset over few monkeys. Just let them do their thing. You just do your activity. So this intense devotional atmosphere in Jaipur, Radha Govindji and jurisdiction of the Jaipur royal family, and that it was practically required by, I mean, everyone was very much attached to Radha Govindji. I mean, not attached, he's attached to Radha Govindji. In fact, in Jaipur, I have been there, I could see the morning, I mean, the kind of, people assembling over there. So these original deities were there almost like 500 years. These are original deities 500 years before these deities were there, and which, as I already described you. So this Matajis and Prabhujis who has all landed up, and Sham Sundar Prabhu and everyone came down over there. In fact, Kamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and the other devotees also were there. So Prabhupada started to discuss with them, and then they set up a Pandal program. And Pandal program was actually like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. So, I mean, he said that just see this, he commented one statement, just see this Western woman, even if they are, I mean, like they were not married or they were just like not having any husband, but they are so bold enough to do this, to preach Krishna consciousness. They have come to India and they are taken challenge. But for our Indian women, they will simply stay at the home. That was a statement given by Prabhupada. But anyway, Prabhupada always used to, excite them so that they can also, whatever small things they used to do, Prabhupada used to appreciate. Appreciation is very important. If we don't do the appreciation, at times, people will feel, dejected. Appreciation from your guru, appreciation from your spiritual master, appreciation from your the devotees association is always helping us to, do more and more. We should never think that we should not. Sometimes people say, don't appreciate, people will get puffed up. No. It is devotees generally. I mean, when you share, it's basically in this nectar of instruction, I read one of the slokas in which it says, this is sloka number 4. In this sloka, it says that, there are 6 things which basically devotees exchange in between themselves. First thing is that asakti dadati grihanati. So, you give the gift and you accept the gift. Exchange of gift doesn't mean that any material things. It's exchange of emotions. And then it says that we have to basically Guhyam Akyati Prakshati. Guhyam Akyati Prakshati means you should be confidentially listening to the devotee. Some devotee comes to you and the confidentiality has to be maintained. If you discuss something, the other person is listening should maintain the confidentiality. And also, when you speak to the other devotee, they should also maintain the confidentiality. We should be confidential if something is spoken to us. So 2 things. Giving gifts and accepting, and also these two things, listening and talking, both, and that should be confidence. Then bhukte bhojayante chaiva sadvidam priti lakshana. Bhukte bhojayante chaiva means feeding the devotees with the prasadam and accepting the, going to the devotees place and taking the prasadam. These two, 6 things, Srila Rupa Goswami said, is the loving exchanges between the devotees. So that's why we should always appreciate. But this Pandal program actually, Hare Krishna, it's already 2016. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, we joined. Gordhan Prabhu has joined.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji, can I take for 10 minutes, Prabhu?
Yeah, sure, Prabhu, you can take.
Okay, Harsh, yes, Prabhu. So I'll just take another, maybe maximum 10 minutes. I'll just try to, finish it up. So this Pandal program, which was being organized and with the devotees, but there was a kind of, actually, Matajis were in the helm of it, and certain things they were not knowing it. So Prabhupada found many things which were not actually as per their, the standards which Prabhupada wanted. The flyers were not being, the flyers which were there was not showing the exact description of ISKCON. And it was written like foreigners. Prabhupada said that it has to be Americans and Europeans. That will create the impact. So he, in fact, got angry. It is not to the standard. It did not say International Society of Krishna Consciousness. What is this? Prabhupada said, shouted. What Srila Prabhupada? So Srila Prabhupada said that, okay, foreign, why did you say it is for? No, the impact will be there. And then the 2 women started, Prabhupada got so angry. Why did you write so foreign? It must be American, European. The twist, and both Kaushalya and Srimati, they started to cry and they left the room. With the help of Shyam Sundar Prabhu, immediately these 2 Matajis got new corrected flash printed, returned to tell Sri Prabhupada. By now, his mood has actually changed. His anger was gone. He was soft. After all, these are actually Prabhupada's daughter. Prabhupada used to treat all of them as his daughter, and they were our daughters. In fact, spiritual master is our spiritual father. See, both of them, were the children of Prabhupada, even the disciples who were either in the foreign or in India. I know that even my spiritual master is my father. He's my spiritual father. I chastised, then Prabhupada said, I chastise you. Prabhupada now was very, okay, Prabhupada that time he said that I chastise you because it is my duty. Disciple is related to be disciplined. Disciple comes from discipline. It is my duty towards my disciple. Otherwise, I am not upset with anyone. I simply do this to discipline you because you are my disciples. He consoled them saying that they are very sincere. Only thing is that they lack the qualities which can happen because you didn't have experience. Devotees present felt, so Prabhupada was wonderful expressing to them what has happened. And the spiritual master felt in training them. And their last minute endeavor for the devotees wanted this Pandal program to happen. And he taken the time for Prabhupada to begin his Pandal program. The opening day, the devotees held a parade in the streets with Prabhupada riding in the palanquin, a large embroidered umbrella sheltering his head. Also the procession, Prabhupada always wanted that people should get attracted. Something which is happening, it should attract them. So there was a elephant procession which was organized. Brass bands and devotees, Indian, American, and European performing kirtan on the streets. And that is what Prabhupada actually, these were the kind of things which will convey the message. Maybe the flyers may not reach everywhere, but if one such kind of, exhibition is done, which people, if they see, word of mouth spreads very fast. Srila Prabhupada's first program on the morning after darshan of Govindji was to catch the huge morning, actually crowd which comes, as I told you, because I was also there in the morning when I reached in Jaipur, traveling from Mathura to Jaipur. Then I could see that the morning cloud was like in thousands. So people were there. So this huge morning, people came hurrying, into temple to see this going. So they actually went this pandal program, which was in the morning as well as in the evening. So they in the morning they were able to see that people when they saw the pandal and all that, so they came down. And this the beautiful first day itself, this Abhishek, what Prabhupada did is he got two deities. Two deities were actually brought by Prabhupada, and these two deities ultimately were sent across for the New Year, for which Kaushalya Srimati both have come. So these deities were first day had see the mercy of Prabhupada. He had done this deities. He did this Abhishekam, and they performed. After that, he had the deities, all the the worshipping of that, and everything was done. And finally, these deities, after the pandal program was shifted to ISKCON temple in New York with the name of Radha Govind. After once Professor Prabhupada's disciple had performed this fire sacrifice, Prabhupada lectured to all the crowd in Hindi, because in Jaipur, basically the language is in Hindi. The schedule for the remaining days would be like morning and evening, the kirtan and prasadam distribution. So everyone, who were there present, this all went on, and preaching actually Prabhupada's preaching mission was basically in the mood of a devotee who wants to spread Krishna consciousness by heart-to-heart connection. There was no show business. But yes, if you don't erect something, if you don't make it visible, if you don't put it across to the people, many people will not be able to understand it. Today, if you see, the Prabhupada books are selling, the highest number of, if you can see, the Bhagavad Gita in so many languages, all over the world, in crores and crores of copies of Bhagavad Gita sold across. Srimad Bhagavatam has now picked up. In fact, the mission today is Bhagavatam everywhere. Bhagavatam, in fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted that each and every village and each and every corner of the world, the name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should reach. And we are now successful in doing that. I am in the session, when I joined by Vrindavan, this diploma course for overview of the Srimad Bhagavatam, I could find that devotees are there from all the foreign lands. In fact, from India, we were only few. Majority of them are from the other parts of the world. And they said that they have taken a mission. And I am really very glad that I also was, I could get my bits of it so that I could also join the mission of spreading this Srimad Bhagavatam throughout the world. So we are going to have a Bhagavat platform where we will be doing the discourses of Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam is going to reach everywhere. And if Bhagavatam reaches, means who is reaching there? What is Bhagavatam?
Krishna himself, Prabhuji. Krishna himself.
Yes. So Krishna, if we are on the Bhagavatam platform, if we are able to, do the discourses, the Krishna is going to be there everywhere. And very soon, Krishna will be in each and every nook and corner of this world. And this 10,000 years which has been there, some years have already passed, some 500 years. Now we are having the amount of years. Probably Krishna consciousness will be gaining tremendous speed. And you all will be part of that. I promise you that my words are not going to be going in vain, because we are all talking on the behalf of Srila Prabhupada. We are talking on the behalf of the great Acharyas. We are talking on the behalf of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are talking on the behalf of Krishna. We are talking on the behalf of Radharani, whose children we are. That this mission of ours will be successful, because we are not doing by our mind. We are not doing it by our mind. We are not doing for any kind of, material thought process. We are just want to be instrument in the hand of the Lord. We want to be instrument in the hand of Srila Prabhupada. We want to be the instrument hand of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are going to do that. And that is what in this 125th year of Srila Prabhupada, each one of us, whatever bits and pieces we can do, let us do it. Hare Krishna, Mataji Prabhu, thank you so much. Cheers, Prabhu. I just wanted to complete it. I was just going on.
You can take, Prabhu, 2-3 minutes if you want to take.
Yeah. So just, I just wanted to conclude with saying that we will continue with our this Lila Amrita for further, because I need another one session. We'll try to cover up for the Jaipur, and again we'll go back to the same, because the Bombay mission is still, it is on high like it is now. hire and fire. Well, the situation is we have to now. Prabhupada is on a mission where Juhu temple is going to be built up, and what all thing happens, we will take up in the next class. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Mataji and Prabhuji is bearing with me, and I just want to say that whatever I said, whatever I have read, is all the words of our great acharyas. Just listening to them, just reading, and from the devotees, I have been able to say those words which I felt that I could have connected with you. But maybe if I've done anything wrong in that conveying my, please forgive me for my, my knowledge is not perfect. Neither it can ever be perfect. I know that still with avidya which is existing in me, but I'm just trying to, to be within the company of all the devotees, the great devotees like Sriyas Prabhu, Govardhan Prabhu, and all of you. So please bless me, and please forgive me for any of my mistakes which I have committed during the class. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Very nice description of Srila Prabhupada. Just eye-catching, just like that. We are listening means we are living in that moment. Your description like that, as if you are living in that moment. It appears like that. As if you are listening, you are so clear in your description of things, that Jaipur and Bombay and all this. As if we are living in that moment, we are feeling. That is that level of your explanation.
Hari Bol, Prabhuji, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hari Bol,
Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. It's all the Hare Krishna. It's all the mercy of devotees expressing their affection and love for me. And also, I would say it's all Prabhupada. And without Prabhupada, we don't have even a single ability. Today, whatever I speak, and when I have seen my Krishna consciousness journey, it's not me who is speaking. Prabhupada is sitting with all of us, and he's seeing that this glorification of Prabhupada is going on behalf of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna. So he's very happy. Guru Parampara is there. We are all his children, and he's our
father, spiritual father.
Spiritual father.
He's our Siksha Guru. So yes, our spiritual father. Ultimately, he's our spiritual master, so he's spiritual father. But he's Siksha Guru. Like Chaitanya Guru is Krishna, is our spiritual Siksha Guru. And if we take Diksha, we have get our Diksha Guru, spiritual master. So yes, Prabhupada is there with all of us, taking the blessings of